3, 2, 1. What was that pussy little clap that you did there?
That clap didn't work out well, but it registered.
It was like that.
He's a very gentleman. He's a gentleman.
He clapped gingerly.
No. Quit moving your loud ass chair around.
I'm trying to get some fan on me before we start.
Can you take these sweatpants off? Nobody
hold on
can
now.
see you in your boxers. Just take the sweatpants off.
No, it's fine.
Why are you wearing sweatpants when it's 100
Because
degrees?
it was cold earlier.
Take them off.
No, we already started. It's fine.
You guys like getting romance time right now?
Just take your pants off.
God, just take your pants off.
That's how it normally goes.
Yeah, when you're married.
Oh, God. That's a commercial for marriage right there.
God.
Just take your pants off, all right?
Oh.
It's
Hurry
time.
up. I'm fucking starving.
Leno's almost on. Is he even on anymore?
Nobody watches Leno.
How old am I?
Oh, okay, here we go. What's up, everybody, boys and girls? Welcome back to the CoGPod. I didn't know what I was going to say. So
Children of all ages, welcome to the show.
Yes, that's what I should have done. That's what I should have
man.
done. This is episode 67.
Is it? I felt like I was at a carnival. I'm so confused.
I had this whole thing in my mind where I was going to introduce y'all like we were in some kind of game. It was like, burr, 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 burr. And today we have special guest
I don't think
star.
the game shows these air horns like it's MLG.
Oh God! But then I just
Popcorn,
forgot
peanuts.
what I was doing. We went live, and I forgot what we were doing.
Cigarettes to calm the
Let's get
pregnant
ready
ladies
to-
in the audience.
Jesus.
No. You're pregnant. You got to smoke the filtered.
So Grim is
calms
out
the
this
blood.
week.
Yeah. Nerd.
Hopefully, he'll be back next time around.
Yeah. They got a nor'easter up there in the
fuck?
northeast.
Spell what you just said to me.
It's nor'easter.
What is that?
It's a bad northeastern storm.
Okay.
And they got dumped on. Isn't that right, Nick?
That sounds like a
They
sexual
got
act.
dumped on.
No, that's a Cleveland steamer.
They got shat upon.
Ugh,
Oh,
Brody.
So
What
they
y'all do
must have
this
got
week?
that big storm that we just had. All those hours. Is
That's
gone
what he
already.
said. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And they
I
have a
think up in
garage.
Canada, they just call them big storms. Yeah, they don't have fancy names for
Not
them.
even big storms. This is like normal for them.
Have I ever told you guys about Frankie McDonald?
No.
Have
No.
you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
No.
He's a gentleman with mental disabilities.
Okay.
And he has gotten quite famous because he's very fond of doing weather broadcasts.
Oh my God, I've seen this.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. So that's how most Nova Scotians get our weather now. A guy
That'd be
screams
kind
it
of
at
amazing.
us. It's
kind of amazing.
it's very popular, not with me, but it is very popular.
I've seen them on YouTube and
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff.
I just
Yeah.
asked my Alexa for the weather for the next day.
You be quiet. She's going to
I
hear
know,
you.
That's why I kind of whispered it a little bit. Apparently, she's been laughing at people like a super creepy child and
Oh, I
freaking
heard
everybody
that.
out.
Has yours done
So
that?
did you hear what Google's story was for this?
Uh-uh.
No.
They were saying that she was mishearing the term, her name, laugh, instead of...
I don't think that's true because
That-
when I asked her,
Yeah.
I asked her to
No.
laugh, and she was like, "I don't know that."
No, she does. She did, but you have to actually say, Alexa, can you laugh? Now, they changed the word, the activation word for it, because that's what they said was happening.
That's what I asked her to do.
So
Yeah, but no, it used to just be you just say, Alexa, laugh.
I gotcha.
And people were saying that's what no.
No, she didn't.
But that's what they were saying was triggering it. That was Google's official response.
But why was it
I think
laughing
it was
like
just-
a creepy child?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Maybe it has different ones. Like if you
Oh,
ask her to tell a
okay.
joke, she has different jokes.
I don't
Siri
know. I
does
think they were
that.
trolling people.
Yeah, all her jokes are dad jokes too.
Oh.
Or like
I think that they were
punny.
just trolling.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it was engineers
Do
messing
you
with
know
people.
what my favorite thing Siri says is?
What's that?
Like if I control it with voice, I'm going to try not to trigger it right now. But I say, Hey, Siri. And then I say, set a timer for 10 minutes. And she'll be like, setting a timer for 10 minutes. I'm tingling with anticipation. Like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So happy, yes, because it's from Rocky Horror. Tim Curry says that.
That's good.
That would be great. That'd be my favorite.
Does she actually say that?
Yeah.
Siri? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she says a bunch of different things. Like she's like, don't forget, watch iPhone never boils and stuff like that.
See, ours doesn't have little quips like that. Ours just like timer set for 10 minutes starting now.
Yeah, she doesn't have quips. She's not British or super clever.
I know.
Darn the luck.
This inferior product.
So, Nick, did you do anything super cool this last week since we talked to you? Anything worth talking about?
Did I say something? I said stuff earlier, but I don't know if I can. No, I can't repeat any of that, I suppose. It was a half hour of it, though. Not really anything crazy. Mostly just legal stuff. Like we're trying to get a new company incorporated.
Another one?
Yeah, this one's just for the game stuff.
God.
Yeah. So
when is your game going to be on Steam? Is that part of the decision?
I can't even say because we did half of the incorporation online and paid for it. And when it comes to the Nova Scotia part, I had to mail it. And you know how that goes.
Oh, no, they're never going to get it.
Dang it, because we paid for the federal part, and it's like, you also need to extra register in Nova Scotia. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's just do it online. Finish it up. Gets to the last stage, and it's like, okay, you're almost done. Now get an envelope and mail check or money order to the Register of Joint Stock. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Never, ever going to get there.
Yeah. So
that's
once
awesome.
that happens,
it's like it's a running joke with the Nova Scotia Mail at this point, or just Canadian Mail in general.
Canadian Mail in general.
I did figure one thing out that might be useful to people. If you want to incorporate a company, which you should, because you don't want to be legally liable for anything,
right? Do
it yourself, and the part that needs to be done by a lawyer, you can make legal aid do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So you can save yourself $1,100 right there.
Now, is this Canada only, or is this in general?
I'm assuming it's probably anywhere that you can incorporate, but it's in Canada for sure.
Now, I know a lot of businesses have like free legal services for employees also. So like certain things, that might be one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, would your business assist you with opening a business?
Probably
that
not.
seems not like something they'd want to do.
Probably not.
But what legal aid does here is it helps people who are too poor for. But you can make them do anything, even if you're not poor.
Do my dishes, clown.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
She didn't know what she was doing at all. She didn't know what I was asking her to do. I said, just sign it and stamp it.
It's like a notary.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I've been doing legal stuff. That's exciting.
So you
boring adult stuff.
So that's just within Nova Scotia that you were sending it for that portion?
That portion. We're already registered in Canada. Like no one else can use our name in Canada.
You could have just driven that up north for a lot faster.
I actually could have. It was only going to Halifax. I was just there last week.
That's what I was like. So, I figured that, it was just right there.
Never going to get there.
See, our mail routes through India and then comes back.
Apparently.
It seems like it sometimes. I once mailed someone. They had to come to visit and they had forgotten an expensive jacket here, and I mailed it to them 4 times. And on the 5th time, it just got lost and never came back.
You just see the mailman wearing it one day. He's like, these people don't learn.
Yeah.
Just kept it.
I ain't mailing this.
Such a weird
Look like your
mystery.
mail bitch.
Yes, you do. You have little shorts on and everything.
Mail bitch got a new jacket, so. Anyway, that's my news.
Oh, man.
Well, this week Well, it kind of started last weekend and it goes into this weekend is South by Southwest here in Austin, where 1 million people flood in, and it's very Austin-y of you to say don't move here, so we'll say that.
Yeah.
Also, don't move here. We don't need more fucking people.
They actually, somebody hired a plane, or it was their own, I don't know, but they had a banner behind the plane flying over downtown that said in big letters, do not move here.
I have never heard of anyone doing this before.
Yeah.
Like, are you super overpopulated or something?
Yeah.
Very much. There's I don't even know the number of people that move here a day. It's a lot.
It's all probably due to Rooster Teeth.
Yeah,
I'll bet it's related to
that. So last weekend we had a friend staying with us, and we were like, let's actually be Austin-y for once in our entire lives.
Yeah,
we went to the Blue Owl Brewery, and they do... Brewery. They specialize in sours, and so there were a bunch of different ones. One I couldn't taste because it was cherry, so I couldn't have that one, but I tasted like the regular one, the wheat one...
The regular one.
And then the pale ale, that's what I meant. And then like the sour raspberry, and then I tasted the Earl Grey tea one.
Oh my God.
And it was so good, it tasted just like iced tea. Like legit iced tea.
Crazy. It was like tea with lemon in it already, but it was beer.
Would you guys go to a place that didn't have or make alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
I don't think
we went to...
Maybe that
we went to a ramen place right after that.
Yeah, so after we got drunk at the brewery, we were like, let's go get food.
They did, but we didn't drink there.
Matt did.
I mean, as a friend, I think America has a drinking problem.
Well, you're probably right.
You're probably right about that.
But that's just like social events.
So we were a little tipsy and starving, and we were like, ooh, we're going to have ramen for the first time, like real ramen.
Yeah.
What was the name of the place we went to?
It was Ramen Tetsuya.
And it was so good. It had really good reviews. And Luke ran into somebody he knew at the brewery and was like, where should we go for ramen? And got some tips or whatever. So we ended up there. And I got the original ramen with added pork belly. Mm-hmm. And then we got edamame. Mm-hmm. And then you got the same thing, but with the little spice pop thing in it.
Spicy bomb.
Yeah, the spicy bomb.
They give you a side of chili paste. And you can kind of space it as much as you want, spice it up, and
nice.
And holy crap, the broth was amazing. The pork belly
was like
it's all about the broth. All the stuff that's in it could be anything in there, don't matter.
And the marinated eggs were really
good.
Those
were really good.
Were they soft in the center?
Yeah, they were.
They were like
did it
medium
right
boiled.
Yeah, soft boiled. They were. It was phenomenal. It was really good. And then I had a whole bunch of broth left, like in the bowls, and so I just combined it all in a to-go container and took it home.
It's like a man open your purse.
No, they actually had them there to go, and took it home, and then threw it in the fridge. And the next day, I just took ramen noodle packets and just took the noodles out and cooked it in it and reheated it. But it was solid. It was like gelatinously solid. So that's how you know it's real, like pork stock that they made it with. Because it's got the gelatin from the bones and stuff, and so it was good stuff.
It was really good. I inhaled it like I hadn't eaten in my life.
You don't know what it could possibly be until you have it. Because everyone's experience with ramen is like Mr. Noodles and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, I thought the hype was just hype, but no.
I mean, it's just so rich. So porky and rich.
And luckily we don't have one closer, or we'd be there.
I know, that's why
they're opening one a little bit north of us by where we used to live.
Well, that one's probably actually closer than the one they're going to put in Pflugerville.
Maybe.
I love that name of that place.
Just off of Grand Avenue.
Pflugerville.
Pflugerville.
It's
just off of 35, so it's closer. It'll be closer. But that one's a Michi Ramen, which is also a chain around here it's pretty popular.
Yeah.
You guys got to just get guests coming more often, then you have an excuse to take them.
I know, right? And we were like, man, we're exhausted. We did that one day, and then that was it.
Yeah, we were so tired. But in all fairness, that was like the fourth night that week I had drank. And I was just like so exhausted.
Back to what Nick talked about
America has a drinking problem. At least everyone I know in America.
Depressed. Everybody's so depressed.
It's just fun.
I drink when I drank because I was happy. Like if I wasn't feeling in a good mood, I wouldn't drink. Like it's a happiness thing for me.
I know a lot of people that drink a lot you know, like nightly couple glasses of bourbon or something, or a 6-pack or
6 shots of tequila.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know, we really don't drink that much.
We really don't compared to most people.
Like booze right behind you all the time. Yeah.
But it's been here for how long? Like I got those 2 bottles last year.
It refills before every time we do this.
Right.
No.
I actually probably drink more while we record than any other time.
I've heard there's a lot of people drink to deal with their problems. I always end up with more problems when I drink, so I don't know what they're doing.
Heck no. I have a lot of fun when I drink.
Well, yeah, but think about all the shenanigans that have happened when you've been too drunk. Like early days, not nowadays. Like
I don't really have any.
Oh, you were lying
I feel like we've heard stories.
No damn way that you didn't get drunk once in your life and have bad things happen.
I don't believe you. I've had plenty.
You just lost a lot of credibility right now, Amanda.
Yeah.
A lot of credibility.
Get out of control drunk.
I mean, remember I ran from the cops that one time in the snow?
Nothing like that's ever happened to me, though.
You had a squirrel chase you through.
Do you just let the cops catch you every time?
I don't get chased by the cops.
Everyone gets chased by the cops.
She's a lady.
I did have a friend once that for her birthday we went out drinking and she was so drunk that when we stumbled out of the bar, she like fell into the planter, like where all the trees were, in front of the cops.
That's fine. Like, you're walking. Straight up. Just walking.
Yeah, they didn't do anything about it, but
they're like, check out that drunk chick.
I was like, this bitch can't handle her shit.
And you probably yelled that very loudly. This bitch can't handle her shit. As you pull her out of a planter and fall over.
I might have done.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would do.
Tell me you never got into shenanigans when you were drinking.
They were always other people's shenanigans, and I was trying to control them.
Just got involved.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun. Yeah.
So
was that all that happened last week?
Well, no, this last week I watched all of Saw.
Oh.
Because Nick recommended all of Saw to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you saw my discussion about it, Nick, because you didn't respond, so I don't know if I offended you. So I watched
I didn't see
Saw
it.
1 through 7. Like all of them in 3 days. I watched all of them.
Yeah.
I know, it was a lot. The first one, of course, was really good because it was so different. 2 through whatever, they were all so similar, and like I was really kind of bored. Like there were several times I was nodding off to sleep from boredom. And the cinematography was the worst part. Like the flashes of different scenes.
They did start to do that a lot more later on.
And it's like, I'm gonna have a seizure. I literally got a headache watching like the 4th one or the 5th one. And the 5th one was the only one I thought stood out as being better than the rest because there was actually a group of people that if they had worked together, you finally see that all of his traps have a way out. That's like the first time you really see that they're supposed to survive. And they figure out at the end, they're like, oh shit, had we just done it right, we all could have lived and now everybody else is dead.
But it's for the one that Amanda messes with, they're all like that.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't really notice it until that one. You don't really see that he means for them to get out of it. And then the last one...
Well, he tells them, though. He tells them every time there's a way out, or you have a decision.
But right before he says that, he says, I've never gotten in trouble while drunk, so no one believes him.
But some of his traps, like, they're meant to fail, you can tell, because he gives them 60 seconds to do something that's literally not possible to do in 60 seconds.
Like at the beginning of 2 when the dude is supposed to cut the key out from behind his eye?
Yeah, there's not enough time to get it done.
I mean, you could just get
like,
in there.
Know...
Yeah, but that wasn't him.
Had he given him more time...
Was that her in the second one? I thought she didn't start till the 3rd.
No, she started in the first one. She's the reason
set them all up. She was just sabotaging them.
He did
right?
set that one up with the key. He did. You find out in 7 that he set the one up with the key, but it wasn't with Amanda. She didn't sabotage that one. It was with the other guy because there's another bad guy.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a third bad guy.
Yeah.
Spoilies.
Spoilers, if you haven't seen them, fuck off, because it was years ago. Yeah. Amanda dies in the 3rd one.
3rd one?
Uh-huh. She dies at the end of the 3rd one.
I thought it was after that.
So all of the rest of them are about this other accomplice that at the end you find out has been behind all of them.
He's just a bad guy.
4 more movies?
But he's actually a legit terrible person. versus this guy that just wants to have people do tests. So the 7th one, the Jigsaw 3D or whatever, which was number 7.
The final jiggening. It's like completely different than the rest of them, even though it had the same people in it. You could tell the director was different and the writer was different, and it was just a different feel to it. The only thing that was redeeming about that one was at the end, and this is a huge spoiler, so if you really don't want to know, then don't listen. For about 30 seconds.
For like a minute. So at the end, the very first guy in the very first one that had to cut his foot off, he's taken over after Jigsaw dies. And in 7, he's taken over and has started shit. And he's not the other accomplice. He's a 4th person now that has taken over.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I liked it ending with him throwing somebody in the same spot where he started out. So it came full circle. So I thought the ending was really cool.
Okay.
But overall, no.
I like the beginning and the end of what you just said.
The whole series as a whole was pretty boring. Like, the traps were all very similar. They all had to do with being locked in some chains and in some headgear, and like they were all just so samesies to me.
I felt quite.
You got killed by Jigsaw too? Me too. Samesies.
Actually, there was a part with that. Because there was a support group for people who
there was
survived.
A support group.
Oh my god,
there was
that's
a
hilarious.
whole thing.
Yeah.
That was the 7th one where this guy pretends that he had gotten attacked and survived, and he never actually had gotten attacked. And Jigsaw finds out, and then actually takes him and makes him go through what he pretended he went through. Yeah.
Sneaky devil.
Like, how do you not know that this serial killer dude is going to come after you when you're lying? Like, clearly he knows that he didn't go after you.
Probably thought it was like all over by then, you know?
I think if you knew about this whole Jigsaw situation, you'd never think that he would possibly catch you.
I guess. Anyway. So, overall, I liked the first one a lot. I liked the way that it ended. And like the 7th one, the very ending of it, and some of the twists and stuff. The story was very solid, though. Like, they go back and they explain every single thing all the way to the very beginning. So they're very consistently in explaining the story. But it was just too boring. And it would have been better gore had it looked more realistic. But the goriness that they did looked really fake and like studio done gore. So it didn't look real. You want to see real gore? Watch Raw. That's real.
We talked about that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you what.
I think that's because that's the last gory
though.
thing I saw was Raw, and then I saw Saw, and I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of crap.
Saw.
I saw Saw?
I don't really like gore in my horror movies.
I don't either. I don't like
suppose.
human suffering that much.
Well, I can't say that.
For animal suffering?
No. I just don't like the torture movies that much. So they were pretty bored. I would say as a series, it gets like a 3 out of 8.
Ooh.
Oh my god, that's harsh.
I don't like it. I didn't like it.
I disagree completely, but that's normal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Amanda has terrible taste in movies.
I really do.
We should make a jingle for
this one
Amanda's
could go
reviews.
either way, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with her.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a lot of people that really love it, or they wouldn't have done 7 and now a new reboot of an 8th one. So
you guys just don't get it. You know?
That's like people that don't like the Fast and the Furious movies. You either hate them or you are a huge hardcore fan like I am.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
I guess that's true.
But I got through them all. It was
job.
Kind of like torture. I feel it reminded me again of Cult Popture when they have to do the Fortnights. I was like, oh god, I'm killing myself.
Yeah,
it's hard to watch a lot of movies like that.
All in a few days.
I wonder if the Saw movies are on their list.
I'm sure they are.
I wonder if maybe they've done them already.
Probably. No, they haven't.
I don't think they have. Not that I've noticed.
I've gone through almost all of them now.
Oh. Well, we have several questions, if you guys are ready to answer questions.
Several?
We have several.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when all of these came in because it's been a bit.
Snape.
So.
Several. Snape.
Please stop. Laz asked, are y'all excited about any pending releases for PC or consoles, you know, besides Crucible Falls?
Oh, what a nice guy. What a nice guy.
So he's giving you a shout out there.
I'm excited for whenever that might happen too.
Yeah, of course. That'll be super cool. Excited though? No, unless somebody gives us free copies of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves, best game ever.
Hashtag best game. Best game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nick is excited for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Sea of Thieves. You want to give us a rundown about what it's actually about?
Well, it is an open world pirate game simulator game.
Bored. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. You might think you might be bored, but you wouldn't be bored. It is so much fun. Like, you crew a ship. You can have a little tiny ship for a small crew.
Okay.
Or you can have the great big regular pirate ship.
To start the game, do you actually get a ship already? Yeah. Or do you have to, like, find a ship, buy a ship,
You always have a ship.
Okay.
Well, your ship can sink and you can join someone else's crew. But if you die, if your whole crew dies, then you'll be on an island with a ship waiting for you.
Okay.
And in your pirate world, there's 99 other pirates. So
each server only has 100 pirates.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you think that with 100 other pirates, it sounds like a lot, but I think in maybe 6 hours of play, I only saw 2 other ships.
So it's a pretty big area.
It's massive. Like, when you set out on a journey, if you're going from the top of the map to the bottom, like, you got to come up with your own fun along the way.
So it's not a globe, it's actually a map. Like, there's edges.
It's a flat Earth.
God damn it, it is too.
So when you get to the end, they say there be dragons?
It kind of does. There's krakens out there. And the sea turns red and and the water starts getting rough and you'll eventually sink.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of thing. But somewhere there's an actual kraken. And no one's found it yet.
Oh, wow.
I know where it is. It's at Grimm's house. He is the Kraken.
He is.
Why?
Because it's Grimm.
That's rude. Why would you talk about Grimm like that?
Because he'll never listen to this episode.
He's gonna send you a message right after this comes out. I can't believe you, man.
I can't believe you called me a Kraken.
I'll run you down how like a typical adventure would go. So let's say we're a crew.
Give us the gist.
And Amanda's clearly the captain, and we're the lackeys. So she goes.
Right off.
So she goes to the little outpost and she searches for some missions, and she says, "Oh, well, we have this treasure map that we can do." She brings it back and sets it on the captain's table. And then we throw our daggers at it if we vote for it.
Oh, man, great. I was going to say, there better be daggers going into that map.
There definitely is.
That's pretty cool.
Your wish is fulfilled. So once we get a majority, we set sail, we raise the anchor, which is quicker if you have more people doing it, but whatever.
Oh.
You lower the sails, angle the sails.
Is it up to 4 player at once?
It's 100
on one
people.
Boat. On a boat?
You start off with you can have up to 4 on one boat. Okay. However, I saw videos where people kept getting volunteers from other boats, and they had up to 16 crew members on a single boat. Okay. So we set sail, and maybe a storm rolls in, and maybe it don't. We have to repair the ship while we're going if a storm rolls in.
Gotcha.
You're looking at the map, trying to figure out where we're going. And let's say we actually somehow get there. And then we have to start doing things like find the dueling crabs and travel 6 paces north by northwest from this, and then solve the next riddle.
So it's like a treasure map kind of thing?
It's literally what it is.
Dueling crabs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a place where crabs fight?
Yeah.
It's that one island where it's all crabs.
Well, how do they know that is there always just 2 crabs going at it for eternity in one certain spot?
Well, that's what we were looking for when we did it. But it was actually 2 rock formations that looked like 2 crabs fighting.
It's probably trees or something.
Yeah.
Dodoy.
Yeah, and then there's skeletons and stuff like that protect things. So maybe we find it. Yep. There's skeletons that'll fight you. So maybe we find the treasure. Maybe we find a few pieces of treasure, and hopefully it's not a cursed treasure box, which are worth the most.
That's how you become skeletons. If you take gold from the cursed treasure box.
Yeah.
Well, this one, it's called the Weeping Treasure or something like that, where when you set it down on your boat, it starts crying, and it will fill your boat up with water and sink you eventually.
It's interesting.
But if you can get it
cut a hole out under it,
fine. That'll definitely work. But anyway, in the meantime,
hang it in a net.
We might be heading back to cash it in, and another ship might come up and decide to attack us, and then we're having cannon battles, and they're shooting people onto our ship, and we're shooting people onto theirs, and that
so you have
kind
to fight to keep your treasure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it first person?
Yes. Yeah, it is. Okay. And I'll tell you one other thing. So we'll defeat them and we get back and we cash it in. But out of the 12 hours of playing it, and I probably met 16 other people individually, 100% of them were talking like pirates. Everyone does. You just start doing it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All on comms? Like all on headsets?
Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, everyone does it. Like, they can't help it. There's something about the game
so
that makes you do it.
So if you guys want to see the COG play Sea of Thieves, send us a couple of keys and we'll get it.
4 of them.
It's super expensive.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah.
Or you can just straight up send us 300. No, I don't have it. I played the beta.
Oh, you don't have it?
Yeah,
oh,
I'm very depressed about
keys,
that, by the way.
please.
So.
Yeah. When's it actually come out?
I think it's later this month, if it's not out already.
Let me have a look on the old...
interwebs.
Check your Steam.
IE?
I before E except after C.
That doesn't work. That rule doesn't apply for most things.
Neighbors and Way or something. I don't remember how it goes.
I don't know. Except for other examples, and they don't work either. Anyway, I don't know. It's not on Steam.
Oh, it's not already.
No, it's
any other games you guys are like super hyped about?
That's stupid. Yeah, actually.
Okay, go ahead. I'm not. Y'all go ahead.
There's been a lot of Vermintide 2 just came out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And if you guys recall, avid listeners to the show might remember that Nick really enjoyed the first one, Warhammer Vermintide. And the second one looks really good. I've been watching some videos on it, and it's first person kind of quest survival, kind of almost like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But in a Warhammer medieval setting. And there are 5 different classes, and each class, as you level them up, has 3 different subclasses also under it, and you get gear and loot as you level and learn different like weapons and spells and abilities and stuff like that. And it's challenging from what I've seen also. It's not no cookie cutter, cake eating easiness.
The first one doesn't take it easy on you either. Like, it's...
So
funny, since you started speaking of it, 2 Steam messages popped up saying people I know are playing that game.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's like the hotness this week. You know, like it seems like a lot of these games go in waves. Like They Are Billions is another one that came out like last month or so, and it's early access still, but it's almost like tower defense RTS kind of style, and it looks really good too, but that was really hot a few weeks ago, and everybody was playing that one. And
so hot right now.
Cancel. Yeah. And then there's another one that's coming out called Surviving Mars. Have you seen this one?
No, well, that sounds interesting.
So this is like, yeah. So Surviving Mars is, I think, from the same people that did like City Skylines.
Oh, that's why.
And
which is hugely popular, by the way.
Yeah, Paradox makes this. And I saw it on Yogs did a sponsored video for it, and they actually did a custom mod pack for them where it was like the Jaffa space program on the rocket, and each of the people that they brought down, it was like all the members. It was like Sips and Shin and Simon.
Oh, I want to watch that. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you tell me anything important anymore?
Anyway, but it is you land a rocket, you choose a landing zone on Mars, and you land a rocket, and it's all little hex. And it's, like when you're placing stuff, it's all little hex, tiles basically. And the scale of it, you don't realize until you actually get people and they're tiny walking on there. But you get a big ship, and then you have like rovers, and you build like power and, like food or I guess you bring food in, but you build all these things to mine ore to build like your biosphere to bring people. And so you have to do all this stuff to kind of prepare it first, and then you bring people in, and you're, like researching to find science and moisture and grow crops and stuff like that.
Ew.
And it's this moisture. But it looks super, super polished, and that's what I was impressed with. I was watching the stream, or that video of it, and the menus are really sleek. It's really responsive.
We're going to watch that as soon as we're done recording this, because I want to see it.
Yeah, it just looks really good. It's kind of a top-down, 3/4 view, the isometric kind of top-down view.
Does it get any multiplayer bit, or no?
I don't know yet, actually. That's a good question.
I heard Stardew Valley is almost into release with multiplayer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I forgot that.
I don't know if this is.
It doesn't say.
This might just be. No, it is single player. So, but it looks a very interesting one. There's a multiplayer one that's been out for a while that I've been thinking about picking up, Factorio, which is.
That's been out a long time.
That looks super duper complicated.
Complicated. Yeah.
It's super small, complicated Minecraft.
Yeah, it's top down, like Tekkit Minecraft mod.
Yeah, it's Tekkit Minecraft, basically.
Yeah, those are all the ones that are kind of coming out now, or that are about to come out, that I've been kind of keeping an eye on. Oh, and then Monster Hunter World has a big update coming.
Oh.
If any of you do play that game, if you've played any old Monster Hunters, you know that they're really good about just pumping out content for the game for free.
Mm-hmm.
And the first major update's coming March 16th. So very soon.
So what's included in that, or do we know?
No, 22nd, not the 16th. 22nd. Devil Joe, which is one of the big monsters from one of the old ones that was always invading you.
Yeah. He's
going to be coming, and with that, a new weapon for each of the 14 types, 2 new armor sets. They're also adding a spring event that's going to open up all the other events that have happened so far, and it's going to like change the view or the look of the main town area to be like festive with flowers and all this stuff.
Flowers.
They're also adding another event with that for a community winner weapon design contest for a greatsword. So that's going into the game. And they're doing a Devil May Cry collaboration where you can get armor. Yeah, you'll be able to do an event for that to get armor that make you look like Dante and get a sword that's going to be a charge blade. Get his sword also. And then there's going to be emotes and stuff like that as well.
I like how games are doing that now. Like, they're doing crossovers. Like, Dead by Daylight did it with Left 4 Dead and all that stuff. Yeah.
Just adds a little something interesting to it.
Capcom does a lot of that. They did it Street Fighter also. There's already been a Ryu one where you can be Ryu. And then there was another, Akane maybe? I don't know what her name is. I haven't played any of the new Street Fighters, but one of the female characters also. And then they did it with Horizon Zero Dawn, where you can make it to look like Aloy and get her bow.
Oh.
And so they've already done a couple collaborations with Monster Hunter.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. And they're also doing a big weapon balance patch at the same time. So they're doing a ton of big updates already.
So have you been playing this?
Yeah. I've got like over 200 hours in.
Yeah, when he's playing, that's usually what he's playing.
It didn't come out that long ago.
No, it didn't. Like end of February, I think. So
yeah.
No, end of January it was. End of January.
Okay.
So 7-8 weeks now. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You ready for the next question now?
Oh, was that a question?
It was a long
answer. It started out that way.
It was a real long answer.
Need to cool off, take a drink.
Well, this one's not really for you anyway. So Simo says, not Simon, Simo says, have you guys and gals watched Veronica? It's supposed to be the scariest horror movie in a long time. Haven't watched it yet, but my friend and I have sort of been watching your horror suggestions in the past episodes. Sorry if you mentioned this already, I'm a bit behind. Your suggestions have been pretty good so far, even when we watch the ones you don't like. So, yeah, we did talk about Veronica on the last episode, on number 66, if you want to go back and listen to it in more detail, but it was not...
If he's going in order, he'll hear that before this,
but it wasn't the scariest movie in a long time. It wasn't actually very scary at all. It was a really good Ouija movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched some of it since then.
Some of it?
Why only some of it?
That should tell you how good.
Did you turn it off because you were bored?
No, I've watched the first, we'll say, 60 to 70% about 4 times now.
Okay.
Because what happens is I get off the computer and it's way too late to be watching a movie, and I'll turn it on and I'll fall asleep. and I have to keep starting over and over again.
So yeah, it's not that scary.
I mean, if you're someone who doesn't watch a lot of scary movies, it's pretty scary, I guess.
It was interesting, but I don't think it was really scary.
I think they did a good job. I mean, I don't know what the end's like, but maybe the end sucks. I don't know, but
no, the end is good.
I like it. I'm just choosing bad times to watch this movie because I can't.
Why don't you next time you turn it on? Why don't you start where you stop so you can actually see the end, Nick?
Nah, I got to get.
He's like, that's crazy talk. Who does that?
Just do it like 15 minutes before where you know. And then that way you'll kind of get back into it a little bit.
What I should really do is just not stay up so late and then start a movie. Because my TV's right to the side of my bed, so I'm laying down in sleep mode anyway. So
just sit at your computer and watch it.
Yeah, but when I'm at the computer, I'm doing stuff. But you have to read it.
No, because then you get headphones and you get so immersed in it, and you're just like,
oh. Yeah, but it's the part is the reading that is difficult.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to read.
You do have to.
No, just kidding. Like, if I'm at the computer, I'm doing like 4 or 5 different things.
Yeah,
the only time I'm not doing 4 or 5 different things is when I'm doing podcasts or when there is no other time.
Yeah, that's it.
He was gonna say baiting.
No, he was gonna say.
No, I still do that. I do Photoshop while I'm doing that.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Gotta learn those keyboard shortcuts with one hand.
Well, I start drawing naked ladies and then I get attracted to them.
Wow.
I'm going to stop there.
3D modeling.
That's totally fine. So then Simo also had a secondary question about what genre of movie baddie from scary movies do you think is the scariest? Like monsters, like slasher bad guys, ghost demons, disaster movies. What's your favorite?
That's a tough one.
It is tough.
I mean, I definitely like the supernatural stuff better, so I was
going to say ghosts are actually probably my favorite. Ghosts are probably my favorite.
It's scariest, not favorite.
Ghosts are scary because they're real.
Ghosts and demons. I like ghosts and demons
are real.
as the scariest. Those are my two scariest. Ghosts and demons.
It's scary because they're real and they could get you at any time. Right, Luke?
It freaks me out more. Thinking about a demon possessing me freaks me out more than, like, the end of the world.
I think, like, realistic psychotic killers. Like, they could be anybody, you know? Sort of thing.
Yeah, but they could be you, too, so...
Yeah, those seem the most real to me.
What if you're one of them?
What
and you
if?
just haven't triggered the crazy thing to flip
it. It's a keyword.
The code word. That is exactly it.
Keyword is Monster Hunter.
Your sleeper cell.
Triggered.
I finally saw The Wicker Man.
Oh God, Nicolas Cage.
Not the bees.
You've never seen that? He's got the bee
mask, and there's like, oh my God,
that was terrifying.
It's horrible, but so good because it is so bad.
I really liked it.
I thought it was crap, but I really liked it.
People criticized.
So scared?
That was very scary to me. Probably the most scared I've been in a horror movie.
The plot of the movie was a little off and a little weird, but I still really liked it.
I don't remember. Is that the one that was based on the true story, quote unquote?
No,
that was Mothman.
This is the one where he goes to this town and
it's
there's
a remake.
Like this weird ritual that they do every spring where they have to like it's like a fertility ritual or something really weird that he ends up accidentally getting involved in.
It's an episode of Supernatural is what it is.
I did like that one, yeah.
There's always some sort of like pagan god ritual.
It's a pagan ritual
that they interrupt.
He has
Remember the one
with
the scarecrow?
Oh yeah. It's kind of like
they
that
had,
actually.
Every year they had the teens, like they would have to sacrifice a male and female to the fertility or the
It's a lot was like
it a fertility
that, actually.
God? It was like a harvest god.
Harvest god. It was a harvest god in that one.
Yeah.
These people kind of worship bees a little bit because that's their thing.
Yeah. Well, they should.
Yeah.
He has one of his best Nicolas Cage freakouts in that movie.
Yeah, he does.
It's the part where he has this doll that's like partially burnt. And he goes up to this confused looking woman. He's like, how does this burn? How did it burn? How did it burn? How did it burn? How did it burn?
Yeah, he just freaks out.
With fire, Nick. With fire.
Come on, dude.
Yes.
Quit caging out.
She's like, I don't know. And he's like, how did it burn? How did it
burn? And she's like, who the fuck is this guy? Because he's not from there either. Like, he's not from that town. He's visiting.
That's awesome.
Anyway, we got off track there. So,
no, that was perfect.
So the next question is for Luke.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Carl
I'm going to take a nap
B.
now.
Yeah, just tune out. Says, how did you get started in disc golf? I had trouble finding people to play with until recently. I'm out of Victoria, British Columbia. I've been told we have some of the best courses going around, so you should stop up here sometime. Well, maybe in the summer.
Yeah.
Because of how cold it is. So the real question is, how good are you? How many aces you got?
Oh.
So how'd you get started? How good are you? And how many aces?
Okay, yeah. An ace is a hole in one.
Okay.
So...
How'd you get started?
First of all, yeah, I got started in 2000, 2001. Would have been 2000, I'd say. My friend Jeremy, his dad, and some of their friends used to play all the time. And they took us out one time and just kind of naturally, became addicted to it, I guess. I was able to throw decently well to start with, and so I just kind of got hooked.
I'm so naturally talented.
Shut up. No, but I threw backhand to start with. I could never really throw forehand, but and back then, I mean, it was basically there was like Innova, Discraft, and maybe Lightning, I'd say, was about the only ones you saw. And so I just kind of started back then throwing whatever we got from those guys and we could find locally. And I played kind of off and on for the first few years. And then in 2004...
Is that when your bag got
3 or
stolen?
4, yeah. I was out playing by myself in Hayes, Kansas. And it was on like hole 4 or 5. I remember specifically the hole. If I was there, I could show you the tree I was in. But I threw up really big high into a tree, and it was way up there, a big pine tree, and I was climbing up to get the disc out, and I finally got it out after having to climb like 50, 60 feet in the air, and got the disc out. I come down out of the tree, and my bag was just gone. So somebody, while I was in the tree, came and took my bag of discs. And
yo, that's messed up.
Yeah, and I had a lot of old Innova stuff, a bunch of like special edition. Like if you know about disc golf and old discs, it was a bunch of the old Champion Edition plastic and special edition stuff.
So they take all your shit, you're like, fuck this, I quit.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened, because right after that I moved to Scottsdale. And when I moved down there, I played a little bit off and on. There was a course, they actually played there last week at Memorial at Vista del Camino, and it was right by where I used to live. Played that course quite a bit. When I lived there, there was a little disc golf shop on the corner called Spinners on the Green, and got some stuff there and played while I lived there, but then I moved again and didn't play at all when I lived in Kansas City, and then I moved again, and then I moved again, and I kind of got back into it in...
Things are tough when you're on the run from the law.
It is, yeah. I think it was like 08, 09 when I was in Idaho, and I had some friends up there that played, and we used to play at Farragut State Park, which is a really cool course if you ever go up there. It's between Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, Idaho, and up in the Panhandle. And kind of got back into it then, and got some more discs, and they actually sold some at the little ranger station there. They had like a shop for the state park that had like, little souvenirs and gift shop and stuff like that. And they sold discs there as well, and I kind of got back into it a little bit more then. And then I moved again to Texas shortly after that, and I came down here, and I didn't play much. Didn't really have a lot of people. I would go out to the courses around the Temple area every once in a while. And of course, after I moved away from Temple, a bunch of my friends up there were like, oh, disc golf's this cool thing. And I was like, I swear to God, I tried to get you guys to play for years. And so the same kind of thing that he was saying, it's just kind of hard for me to find people. I didn't really ever seek them out though. I was just kind of go to courses and play by myself, and didn't really like try to get in the scene of groups and find people. And now I really wish I would have. And when I got down here to Austin, there was a lot more groups of people.
There's a lot of hippies here.
Yeah. A lot of people that indulge in the herb, and that's...
So disc
you
golf,
guys getting like disc versus hacky sack wars, or...
No, but it is, and it's kind of a big stereotype that they're overcoming, because disc golf is trying to become, to show
more
that it's
a
legitimate professional sport, and they have the pro tours, and they're trying to kind of change the image from that stoner hippie culture, that people that just like trash stuff and don't give a shit. And so I would definitely recommend like trying to find local groups. A lot of times there's Facebook groups.
Go on Facebook, find a Facebook group.
Facebook groups for almost every course out there. At least around here there are. They'll do like leagues or minis or stuff like that. And then also the Reddit, the disc golf subreddit is pretty good. There can be some trolls on there, but overall it's a pretty good community. And then, also just like podcasts and stuff like that. I've joined that disc golf podcast community, and like we just talk about disc golf all day.
Literally, I don't know how you still have shit to talk about. It's just on the disc at a basket.
Yeah, but that's kind of my journey, I would say, of disc golfing, and
take me on your stupid journey.
Yeah, and I do wish I had kind of got more into it earlier and like more serious about it, I would say.
So as far as how good you are, so you actually have a PDGA number, and then so you actually have a numbered score.
You have a rating.
What is your rating?
Right now I think it's like 842. I just joined last year, and my first few tournaments were not great. But when I look back from where I am now to where I was in those first couple of tournaments, like the shots I was throwing and the scores I was getting, I've improved a ton since then. So it's pretty cool. I really want to see this year.
So to bump your score up, you would just have to play more in tournaments?
Yeah, so they take the last year of scores is what creates your rating. And also, I have a little bit of beef with the rating system right now because there was a ratings update just recently, but I didn't have any that added to it. But the one before that ratings update, I had 2 rounds go in. I was at 843. Okay? I didn't have any rounds fall off. I had 2 rounds go in that were like 838 and 891. Right? So they averaged like 865. I did the math on it. And my rating went down a point to 842.
Oh, really?
Which doesn't make any sense at all based on the math. They changed their algorithm at some point, and I think something got screwed up because it's also supposed to be that the most recent tournaments weigh heavier on your score. So by that, I would have went up probably more than just a couple of points.
Is this out of 1,000? Like, is this like batting 1,000 kind of thing?
Not really. 1,000 is what a pro would throw.
990 or higher is pro, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can go pro anytime you want. You can, but the best pros in the world are like 1051, 1052, and then everybody else is like in the 1030s that are in the top 20 pros or so. If you're over 1,000, you're pretty much a pro or open rated player. You should be. But yeah, anybody over like 970, 980 typically will compete in pro level. My highest rated round in a tournament's like 906, I think.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good now.
Were you drunk?
No.
I'm just kidding.
That was at the Seguin tournament, and that actually, it's kind of well known around here. That course has really soft ratings. Like, it should be higher than it actually is always. So a lot of people won't even play tournaments there because of it, that I've talked to. But, so I had a really, really good round that day, and it was super windy too. But anyway, yeah, that's, I would say my current level is probably more around an 875 average based on my most recent scores and things like that. And I think that's what it'll kind of average out to. When they redo the
average. So how many aces have you had?
In my life? Okay. I had one way back when. And then,
you don't have to give an exact number. You can
I'm going to I'll talk about all of them.
Please don't talk about all of them. Just give us a number.
And then I had...
Actually, if you give us a number, we'll decide if you can talk about all of them, because it's like 2.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
it's less than 10.
I'm not hearing about 6 or 7.
It's like 6 or 7, yeah.
No,
okay, so let me tell you exactly then.
No.
I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm just going to... I got to figure out the exact number. So I had one with the shark and Hayes. That was like the next hole where I lost my disc and lost my whole bag. It was the next hole after that. Not that same day, but it was on that same course. And then I had one down here at 5th in Temple. And then there was a buzz. Oh, and then I had my tournament ace. That was my first ever sanctioned tournament. I hit an ace. That was the one Yeti was at. That was the sweetest one. It was like an Annie. See, if you play disc golf, you know. I probably talked about it before, actually. It was like 210, 220, like an Annie tunnel shot the whole way.
Because we even posted your ace picture for that one when you talked about it.
So I did that. That's my third. And then I hit 1, 2 at Wells. I think. Is that it? Maybe 3. So 5 or 6.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, and some of them are, my longest is only like 220 or so. It's not like a big shot. I've hit chains, and I've thrown in from really far a few times, but.
Do you play on like a golf course? Would it be comparable in size? Or?
No.
Okay.
On a normal course, I mean, it's really hard because they fluctuate so much. Like we have a short course here that has holes that are less than 150 feet, and the longest is about 310 and maybe 330 in the long position. And then other courses you go to and you have 700, 800, 900 foot holes over 1,000 foot sometimes. But those are like par fives usually when they're like that. An average par 3 is somewhere between 300 and 400 feet usually.
Okay.
I'd say, give or take. You know, definitely shorter ones that are sometimes more technical, sometimes they're wide open. A lot of times, the thing about disc golf courses though is they use the terrain they have, so they'll use tree lines and tunnel shots, and so they try to make it more technical than just kind of, you know, going around corners or putting bunkers and stuff like that. You actually a lot of times have different lines you have to hit.
Oh,
okay.
So yeah, that's
I give you a lot of shit for this, but I think it's probably a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. Ratings are hard to kind of judge also because it depends on your competition. You know, your rating depends on the level of play at that tournament. So I would say I'd probably be right around like middle of intermediate pack in skill level. If you know what the ratings are, like rec, intermediate, advanced, and open, I'd probably be right in the middle of intermediate. So somewhere in there. Yeah. I've come close to winning rec tournaments. I should have.
Robbed.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
so,
you're welcome.
How would you say this name? Is that ILLEV or just all
I have
L's?
no idea.
Lev. Not sure who this person's name is, whatever. Yeah. Says, I've heard you talk about all your pets sometimes, but what exactly do you all have for pets?
Yeah.
So we've got a big old fat cat named Gizmo. She's a tabby. Super tubby, doesn't do anything but meow and annoy people. And then we've got Finnick, who is probably 10 months old now. Yes.
Yeah.
10 months old tuxedo tabby, and he's huge for a 10-month-old cat. Yeah. He's like 13 pounds and like 11 feet tall.
Long and lanky.
And then the baby that's 9 months old is what's called a toiger. So it's a form of tabby that looks like a tiger with the way its stripes are, and it's got like spots on its belly.
Yeah, it has like leopard spots.
And his name is Dobby. Dolby.
It's not his name.
Yes, it is.
She's changed it again.
Don't hear about that one very much.
His given name, his Christian name, is Azazel because he's got the gold eyes of the yellow-eyed demon, but I don't call him that. No. But if he does murder anything in the house, it's the Castiel Funko Pop. He just knocks him down every time. And I'm like, what?
It's got to be like your least favorite, though. You never talk about that one. Or he's the least social.
Her favorite.
He's actually my favorite.
Oh, really?
He's the one with the super cool markings, like the very Egyptian style.
Oh, that one you were holding up that other time there?
Yeah, he's my baby.
Playing cat accordion with him.
The tuxedo cat is Luke's cat. And so on Monster Hunter, his little palico is Finnick. Yep. He made him look like Finnick. It's really cute. And Nick, you don't have any pets right now, do you?
I have a ceramic cat. That's good enough.
Yeah.
You have Maneki-Nico cats?
Maneki-Nico? Maneki.
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention that happened this week? Actually just happened yesterday.
Was Nick done talking?
Yeah, I was done.
I don't have any pets, yeah.
Short conversation for me.
Yeah.
We lost probably the smartest mind
in
our lifetimes.
Jeez, hell of a segue again.
I know, with Stephen Hawking dying yesterday.
Yeah.
When it
really
happened,
sad.
I was like in shock for like a minute. I mean, he lived to be a lot older than he was expected to.
Yeah, he beat every odd that was ever given to him.
By far.
Wasn't he like 22 or something, or 28
when he was diagnosed?
And they said he had 2 years to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And normally that's about right for ALS. So
you don't tell Stephen Hawking what to do. He tells you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. 76 years old, but the world got a little bit dumber yesterday when he left.
That's absolutely
and we can't afford it.
Man. No, we can't.
He was bringing
the
average way up.
Way up. So whenever it happened, I was at Ross and Randy's, and we were talking about so now we've got left Neil deGrasse Tyson. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the really, really smart Asian guy.
Michio Kaku or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I think that's. I don't know if that's his name. But
there are.
I think that's. But I'm talking
hundreds
about
of thousands of
the
people.
really well-known physicists that are super intelligent.
There
They were
are
talking about how
so many
important,
that just nobody knows their names.
how important like Elon
They're so
Musk
smart they
is
get
now.
famous.
And,
I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we were like, man, we did like a shot in honor of Stephen Hawking.
Wow.
I mean, we were already drinking to start with, but we did an extra
Dedicated
shot for him.
one to him.
Yeah,
in
poured
the
one
middle.
out. Poured one out for my homie.
Yeah. It sucks because anytime someone's like, oh, who's that smart guy? Stephen Hawking. Like,
Yeah.
no one even has to hesitate. It's just who's the smart guy? It's him.
Definitely.
He was funny too.
He really did have a good sense of
Did
humor.
you ever see the John Oliver interview
Yeah.
with him?
Oh, no, I
did.
didn't.
You gotta watch that. It was on.
It's all over
Plus,
social
he
media
cameoed
right now.
on every show that's ever been on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Every
Yeah, he
show.
was making fun of John Oliver. It was pretty funny. Like there was one answer that just one of the questions that John Oliver asked about like infinite universes. He was like, "Is there one where I would be smarter than you?" And he's like, "Yes." And there's also one where you'd be funny.
Burn. Burn.
It was great.
So,
Got to use that air horn after all.
Yeah, I did.
did.
Couple of other announcements. We'll link to it this week on our website if you guys want to see it. The episode of the Cake Wolves podcast that came out. I'm not really sure if they have a different title than just Cake Wolves or not. It's all part of the Padded Room Network. They have several different podcasts in their network.
Right.
So we'll link to that so you can hear us beat the crap out of them.
Wow, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. We beat them though.
And because we had way easier questions.
We did. Our questions were way easier. So we'll link to that. And then we also want to give a shout out to Dragon's Cask Entertainment. They sent me a message that they're just fans of ours that have listened to the podcast for a long time. And they're doing, they're teaming up with Revival Brewery for Autism Awareness Month. So they're going to do an afternoon of Mario Kart Double Dash, and then all the donations go to the Autism Project. And it has like the suggested donations, and you know it says where they're going to be. They're going to be at the actual brewery doing it, but it'll also be live streamed on Twitch.
Are they sending us beer from the brewery?
So we'll link to their Twitch so that you guys can watch if you're not in Cranston, Rhode Island,
that's
where it is.
later, isn't it? That's like next month.
No, it's on the 25th.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
I thought they were doing like for the whole month of.
Well, this particular one. There's a lot of different gamers that are doing it for Autism Awareness Month.
Okay.
But just this particular one.
A lot of
that
people
day.
have autism, like surprisingly more than I ever thought would.
Yeah, it is pretty high numbers. The other thing I was going to mention too is if you want to get a chance to hang out with any of us COG members in the near future, there's a few of us that are going to be at Glass Blown Open. We mentioned it before, but I'm just reminding you, in April. And then also, a few of us are going back to DreamHack again this year. And that's June 1st through 3rd.
The Austin DreamHack.
Austin DreamHack. We will be going back.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
That's all the businessy stuff.
Not really. I wish I was.
We'll be there.
I want to be there, but I won't.
Reed and Megan will be there.
Yeah,
like
Nick,
some of the
Nick will be there.
I
Yeah, I'll be
wish.
there. I would love that
Come
so
on,
much.
bruh.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be fun.
Well, if that letter ever arrives where it's going and I make money on the thing, maybe I could.
Yeah, there you go.
It's June. That's like 2 months away and a half.
It could
No,
happen.
it's not even going to get there by then. It's not even going to get there by then. It's 2 streets over.
It's got to go through Bangladesh and
then back.
Just fill another one out and then just drive it
Just
up.
go drive it
Yeah.
up there.
Probably what we'll do
Once
if
you
it
get a
takes
car
too
with
long.
working brakes.
You could walk up there and back faster.
Yeah.
Who needs brakes?
He just slides with no brakes into the...
Just get a couple of lobsters and saddle them up and ride up
Lobsters.
right up there.
Lobsters?
Yeah, that's
Why
what they have up
lobsters?
there because that's their fishing area.
Actually,
is.
it's funny. There's a big debate going on right now whether Barrington, which is close to where I grew up, is the lobster capital of the world, or someplace in New Brunswick that I don't know about. They're trying to settle that right now. It's getting pretty heated.
They having like pinch fights over it.
No, they're just a bunch of uneducated people having really stupid fights about it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
You sure this isn't America?
That's how we settle things nowadays. We just fight it out on
we're
Facebook
just
or
one
the
big
internet.
people. We're just one big people.
We, the people of the world.
No matter what country you're from, the dummies will always be arguing on Facebook.
Oh, man.
All day, day.
Dummies be arguing.
That's right. Dummies be arguing. Anything else? Did we forget anything?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I'm not sure if we'll be back next week with Grim or not, or if in the meantime you guys may get a clip show. Just watch out for that. You'll see it pop up on your notifications if you follow us when something new comes out.
Right.
So,
Right.
Until then, everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Grabby Halloween.